lost thoughts lead you astray. Then I cry, then I feel pain. Why do I suffer so much? I would love to feel your touch. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Baby, I don't know where to go. I feel so lost without you. Save me before I pass out. Save me before I pass out. Before I pass out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Formula 2 action here for Moose Racing League Season 9. We are at round number 3 here at the Autodromo do, I think it's Jose Carlos something or other. It's Mexico, that's all you need to know. It is a beautiful circuit, one of the shorter tracks on the calendar and one of the most beautiful places for F2 to be taking this season. It in fact does not have Jose Carlos, that's Brazil, I just remembered. We're in Mexico City, a 4.3 kilometer circuit, 2 major DRS zones and one slightly smaller one on the back straight. A high level of overtaking will be taking place here today. That double detection zone at the beginning of coming into turn number 1 will be absolutely crucial for these F2 cars. But without further ado, let's get into the action. My name is Dan, and joining me, if I could get his camera up in time, it would be Toby. Toby, it is a pleasure to have you on board for today's race. There is a lot of competition in F2.
Oh yeah, some of the names on this list are crazy. I appreciate everybody for having me. I'm excited to watch this race.
Yeah, there's so many talented drivers. Last time out, of course, we saw the ever-present Miniko storm away to a huge win at the COTA Grand Prix. Takes a huge lead in the championship as well. Leads by 34 points over his teammate, who is in P2 currently in the standings in Bops. Van Amersfoort having maybe the best start to the season you could have asked for.
Yeah, when we did the F2 draft, when the draft happened, when I saw that team combination, I figured they weren't going to have too much competition as far as team-wise. And Miniko's just fast everywhere he goes.
Yeah, 2 wins from two fastest laps as well. But we are getting ready to go on to one-shot qualifying. If you're unfamiliar with the F2 format we have here, it is one-shot qualifying followed by a full 100% race, which is terrifying for me because I've never casted more than 29 laps in a race before, outside of Monaco. So this will be interesting. I'll get that stream up for you now because we are going live with the qualifying. Who will be on pole as we watch on board with Miniko for this flying lap? Predictions from you, Toby. Who's taking it?
Miniko.
Okay, fair enough.
We did a Formula One race here on Wednesday night, and he was blistering fast.
You see him there.
City of R is always up there.
Well, currently City of R is fastest, and Miniko's completely gone off the track at the exit of turn 1. City of R is comfortably ahead at the moment.
Validate him.
Yeah, no, he got off the throttle enough. But currently it is a battle between the Van Amersfoort drivers and the one driver for Dam. City of R, of course, also tied for second in the championship. Is also on 18 points alongside Bops and alongside, I think it's Bouncy. It's probably not Bouncy. It's someone else who isn't present for today's race, who is also a reserve driver. But currently Van Amersfoort 1 and 2 through the qualifying session. As Bops will also Miniko will invalidate his lap. So he will be at the back of the grid now no matter what. Wild start.
My predictions out the window.
Yeah, it looks like it will be a Van Amersfoort on pole, but it will not be the one we expect. Bops now rounding the final 2 corners. Can he stick it on pole position? All he needs is a tidy exit. He's got it like it's no problem, and will go P1. Kiss My Axe will be a second behind in P2. City of R P3. Bouncy P4, only by 5 thousandths misses out on that third place. And Com, again, only a 10th separated him from P3 and P5. He will line up alongside Sean Tiller in P6. Great qualifying session. I wish there was more action.
Yeah.
I wish we could see the ball at the same time.
I mean, on pole by a second. I mean, that's a huge gap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the Van Amersfoort difference, apparently. If you've got a Dutch name, you just seem to be at the front by quite a sizable margin in this game. I don't know what it is. But a little disappointing, though. Further down the order as we look now, it'll be Edge and Miniko on the back row, behind the 2 ARTs of Stig and JBTC. And then Nicky G and Homer also not making it around the lap without getting disqualified. But the slowest of our finishing runners was the Triton driver of Burn Victim, which I don't want to say that name too many times. That just feels weird.
Right.
Do I call him Burn? I'm going to call him Burn. It might help.
That works. I'm with you.
Either way, 40
Miniko
laps.
has a lot of work to do, though. But, I mean, 40 laps, he has plenty of time.
Yeah.
If anybody can do it, Miniko can. And the weather actually looks really cloudy out. We might get some rain.
That would mix things up. I don't know how grippy these F2 cars are in the wet. We've seen already certain cars, like the F1 cars, they don't tend to do too hot in the wet nowadays. FIA really not liking the fact that there are wet conditions possible in an F1 race. Maybe we should race indoors from now on. Might help resolve that issue. But in regards to this, we've got...
Miniko in chat says, no practice goes hard in P16.
It was technically P15. He did technically qualify one person, I think, by DSQing later. Never understood how that works. Is it later or earlier that gets you higher up the grid?
I think it's later gets you higher up the grid.
Okay. So it might be a play if you don't want to set a lap in one shot quali, you set half, like do most of the lap and then just run it into the wall on the outside at the final corner.
Right.
Might work. But we'll see now as all the cars line up. There is a Prema on the front row, but it is not the car we are watching because it is Bops off the line as we get underway here at the Mexican Grand Prix. as I pull up the wrong thing completely, and it is already a great start for Bops. He's completely ahead of the Premier of Kiss My Axe. Now, City of R trying to make a challenge into turn 1. They squeeze each other on the outside. But action behind! There's a spinning Virtuosi, I believe, in the background. Miniko's already gone up 3, but he's dropping around the order. Someone was absolutely sideways.
It was Stig.
Stig. Shame, my old teammate.
Yeah, in the ART.
All the way back at the back of the grid now.
Goes off track.
What a great start though from Bops. Gets that gap to Kiss My Axe already, who is now feeling like a cork in a bottle for City of R, who sat right behind him. The other Premier driver, a bouncy. Good start from him. Still P4, Com P5, Sean P6. Landsharky and Edge trading positions now. They are both on the same team, both driving for Campos. Or as someone goes wide there, that's the Red Bull liveried car of someone or other. I really wish I could tell the liveries on these cars.
John, it was John Does Work.
John Does Work. That's in the Carlin Racing car. Ah, that makes sense. Carlin a Red Bull. But there's still battling going on behind us. Again, Monster Jammers goes round off the curb. And he's span it completely. Coming into the final stadium section. He'll get the car going again. He will drop to last. But not the start he was looking for after qualifying way up the order.
Yeah, you just coming into that stadium, any place in that stadium, you cannot. It's not smart to ride the curbs. It's very slippery through there.
Not at
Stig
all.
gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Yeah, that's what you get with a broken front wing. Your braking zones are extended. There is a move going on up ahead, or an attempted one at least. I believe it was Landsharky was looking for a move there on Sean Tiller. The battle for 6th place now raging on. Sean having to go defensive. The two Campos cars lining up behind. Landsharky's all over his rear end. Will pull to the outside now for the chicane. Can he find a way around? No. Forces him narrow. Tries to make the move. But Edge is almost in the way there. Edge, of course, Snipper D, just always in the peripherals of his teammate. And might be putting him off making the move a little early. But at the front of the grid, it's starting to open up a bit. Second gap now between first and second. Second gap between second and third. And Bouncy is the only one trying to keep that top 5 close together. Sat right behind City of R with Com chasing after them in the other, I believe, high-tech car.
And Sean Tiller and Landsharky fighting has allowed that top 5 kind of to go up the road by about 2.5 seconds also.
Yeah, first 3
So
seconds.
they don't want to lose touch with them. They might want to stop squabbling so much.
Well, right now, it's not Sean that's under pressure, but Landsharky. Edge has had an amazing start, by the way. Let's give him a little bit of credit. He's jumped up 7 positions off the line. Basically pulled what we'd expect Miniko to be pulling in that Campos car. Is now chasing after his teammate as DRS is enabled this lap but won't be useful until the second DRS point. There is another battle going on at the front though as Com is looking for the move on the Premier of Bouncy. It's so hard to overtake though in these F2 cars that his move just doesn't come through. Meanwhile down the straight, Nicky G has actually got the move done on Burn for P13. No points for them in that position, but it's still a good overtake to try and move up the order. As again, Com looks for the move into the chicane, can't find it. Behind them, Edge is just tucked in, nice and sweetly, right behind Landsharky, waiting for the mistake. And in these F2 cars, mistakes are bountiful, just due to the nature of how difficult they are to handle.
Yeah, it's a lot. If you don't do any practice in the F2 car and you just drive F1 in the game all the time, it's a completely different feeling in the car. How you have to downshift in the corners is completely different.
Meanwhile, down the field,
there's almost nothing that's comparable.
Oh, Homer and Miniko are going wheel to wheel. They went wheel to wheel through the entire rest session. Homer was bumped off the road, but will give it up in the braking zone. Great late braking from Miniko to get the move done up to P9. But Miniko's actually had a moment. He's clipped the wall. I'm surprised he hasn't got any damage off of that, as Homer all over his back end through that section. Won't find a move here, but will have the DRS on the straight if he can try and stick with him at the exit. 6.5 tenths the gap. DRS opens now. And we'll see if Homer will find a way through. Meanwhile, in the front, Com sat behind Bouncy, but Edge has got past Sean Tiller. Edge has actually got past his teammate as well. He's up to P6 now. one of the championship contenders, is in the top 5 in the championship fight, is looking to get involved, has done a great job so far as Stig receives his first 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, Stig's having major problems back there in the back.
Yeah, he's comfortably half a lap down in the ART. It's not been a good weekend, not been a good season for ART in general.
I'm going to keep an eye on this gap from calm to edge, see how much time edge can actually put into him.
Well, currently, Bouncy and Calm and City of R are neck and neck in the middle sector. They are wheel to wheel. The Premier and the High-Tech are side by side. Calm and Bouncy going head to head through the S's as it tries to turn in, does Calm. He gets forced wide and Bouncy will take the position in the Premier. Little bit forceful there. Might be looked at by the stewards as it looked like he kind of just pushed him off the track. But Calm will be looking to try and get the move done again.
That let Edge gain almost a second on them while they were racing each other.
Yeah, that's what happens. You've got to try and keep it steady now. I learned that lesson the hard way in Tier 3 last week. Battling Pudju for nearly 10 laps kind of ruined both of our races. But now, Calm is looking to try and maybe ruin Bouncy's. Can he get the move done into Turn 1? No. Doesn't have the braking time to do so. And Edge will fall back about 2.5 tenths on the straight just to show that straight line difference between these cars. That's what the difference of DRS makes. It's not a lot for an F2 car, but in reality, that adds up over a lap time because there are 3 DRS zones. All of those tenths are coming down as Miniko will actually make the move on Landsharky now. He is up to P8 momentarily. Landsharky tries to fight it on the braking zone into turn, I believe, 4, but can't get it done and won't go for the switch back through 6 either. And will fall behind as Miniko's rise is starting. And it's starting to look a little bit worrying if you're in the position of Sean Tiller or Com at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I figured Miniko was going to make a run, but make that many positions up this early. Him and Edge are both on a tear. Com's going to shoot down the inside of Bouncy here going into the stadium.
Bit of contact.
A little bit of a bump wide and got the move done.
Well, Bouncy's still there.
He's still there.
On the inside. Now coming through the stadium section, Bouncy basically forced out of the position. Great move there from Com, just sort of widening his exit angle. Just sort of slowly but gently persuading Bouncy to leave that line and leave that corner. But instead now has actually given himself DRS and Bouncy will come straight back past Com. Down the main straight. Com tries to tuck back in, maybe go for a move into the DRS zone, can't do it. Will instead fall behind as Miniko's made up another spot. He's now past Sean Tiller before the straight even started, just to show the pace of that car. Meanwhile, Homer's now dropped another spot as well, as I believe that's the ART of JBTC, a Alfa Romeo liveried version of the ART, I believe that's Teo Porcher's car, has now got past the Invicta, I don't even remember, is it Invicta BWT? I don't even know what they called at this point. Invicta Virtuosi?
I have no idea. I do not watch too much F2, to be honest with you.
I know, I should know this, I used to watch it, but it's just completely gone from my brain. Either way, the battles are continuing in the midfield. Com is all over the back end of Bouncy once again, who receives another 3-second time penalty. That's his 6th second of penalties now, as Miniko up the inside on Edge again. Just that's the innate pace advantage we've seen out of Miniko all season long so far. Is able to just cut through like prime Charles Leclerc in F2. Just flies past his opposition as if they're not even there. He probably could do an extra pit stop and still win a race quite comfortably. But the gap to the front is quite a ways now. 11 seconds between him and Bops, his teammate.
Yeah, Bops is just taking off and left the field. I mean, 4 seconds up the road in 7 laps.
Ooh, bit of lag there.
Calm are going at it. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, he's still bouncing around.
I think everyone's bouncing around a little bit in that pack. But Miniko did end up behind Edge there, coming out of turn 3. And Edge has that DRS. It's the double detection zone. It's so crucial around here. But a great send up the inside by Miniko. Parks it on the apex. No cutback possible from Edge. He will fall to P7 as there's a bit of contact behind them. Landsharky and Sean Tiller bumping nose to tail there through the braking zone. That might be looked at as well. Heavy contact is, of course, dangerous in F2 cars as much as it is in an F1 car. The, what is the...
And Miniko with that move on Edge was just so late on the brakes.
Oh, yeah. It's confidence,
he has such good
it?
brake control. Yeah.
Meanwhile, in front of them, Com and Bouncy still battling. Because of their battling, by the way, City of R has actually broken about 2.5 seconds clear of Bouncy at this point. That's just the difference in battling and not. He's comfortably broken the gap. He may not be on the back end of Kiss My Axe, but he's very much clear. Edge, by the way, Miniko, has now caught the back of the mighty duo of Com and Bouncy, who are still going at it, with the high tech of Com, still looking for the move into turn 1. Will he go for it? No, backs out the last second. Didn't want to try it into turn 1, but if he can get the exit out of 3, you know what might be coming. He might be going for the run into 4, but he hasn't seemingly got the best of exits, and that Prema seems pretty well controlled through there, and that will be move defended. Bouncy feigns defensive just to be certain, but no moves will be made as of yet. Meanwhile, at the front of the grid,
the lag is crazy.
I'm trying to ignore it. At the front of the grid, I want to point out, Bops has just sailed away. We've brought him up occasionally. In reality, he's having the race that he needs to right now. Van Amersfoort are comfortably leading the Constructors' Championship over Campos in second. And it's all off the back of, well, Bops' P2, I believe, last week, that pushed him up the order as Landsharky receives his first 3 seconds. He's got past Sean Tiller now. He is up into P8, but that 3 seconds will knock him all the way back down the grid. But if you just look at the overall pace of Bops, it's there. It has been there for quite some time. Miniko's not making ground on them. No one is, in fact, making ground on anyone at this point. The gaps between Kiss My Axe, City of R, and Bops have been pretty equidistant for a couple laps now. It's only Miniko who's really been trying to make the ground, and he's up the inside of Com into the braking point of turn 1. You have to assume that it will be move done. Late on the brakes go both drivers. Com's actually held it around the outside. Forced to take the inside here, though. And it will just set him up very awkwardly. Coming out of the exit of 3. Miniko also with DRS. Both drivers still there. It's almost contact. Bit of lag again. Really is throwing me off at this point. But Com can't do anything to defend.
Like, I keep thinking that there's contact everywhere, but there's not.
I'm just trying to call it as I see it. It's difficult, but it's doable. But yeah, the gap between Miniko and Bops, by the way, has only grown by about half a second over the past 2 laps. That's the pure pace of Miniko and this entire pack of 3 between himself, Bouncy, and Com. They've not dropped time at all to the race leader. As Miniko slides out of the exit of... I can't even count the corners. There's too many to count. But he slides out of the exit there onto the 3rd DRS straight. Couldn't get the move done. But we'll maybe look for the move into the hairpins. Ends it up the inside. But yeah, the Prema's got good acceleration there. Has kept in front. But Bouncy is now going to be completely under threat. As up the inside there almost goes the high tech of Com. He's tried to send it. He's not made it work. Now the straight line speed advantage. This is where Miniko will thrive. He'll just pull out of the toe. DRS enabled, cleanly ahead. There are no ERS on these cars, by the way. It is pure DRS and straight line speed, so it's all about the setup. And right now, there is a battle going on behind him as Com, trying to follow Miniko through, has actually done so beautifully. The Prema's not had an answer for either of them, and now Com can tuck into that DRS again of Miniko and try and stick with him for the rest of this lap.
Yeah, both of them having DRS coming down that main straight. I mean, Bouncy really couldn't do anything. He has 2 of the faster guys in the tier with DRS behind them. That close is basically inevitable.
City of R, by the way, has dropped about 1.5 seconds the past lap to Kiss My Axe. Gap now between him and Bops is about 9 seconds. That before it was 7.8. The The Dams team have not had the most success this season. City of R, though, has been the main protagonist for them, trying to push that car forward as far as it can. And you've got to think, if he's going to be involved, does that look like he crashed into the wall? But he didn't. If he is going to be involved in that championship fight in any way, shape, or form, or even try and bring his team into P2 in the Constructors, he's got to be at the front. He's got to be on the podium every single race. And right now, there's a Prema comfortably 5 seconds up the road from him, and he's got 3 seconds of time penalties.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
then
great.
he has Miniko closing down on him, Calm closing down on him.
Bouncy as well. And Edge is not
But I
too
think
far off.
any team can honestly do in this tier, I think everyone's basically fighting for P2. I don't think the VARs, I don't think anyone's can do anything about them.
Honestly, I'll have to agree with you. From what I've seen over the past few races, it has been a VAR sort of almost a VAR fest at the front of the field. Meanwhile, I
Right.
want to point out, as again, there's a bit of lag there. Just try to ignore it if you're watching on at home. The middle pack behind them, from Landsharky down, isn't that far spread from each other. Landsharky through to Nicky G is only about 5 seconds. Or 5.5 seconds, which is remarkably close, but is what we'd expect out of F2 cars. Very hard to
Right, yeah, I mean,
have that pace advantage.
right. When everything's built exactly the same. The teams don't build their own cars. The cars are 100% equal.
Yeah,
It's basically just down to driver.
I believe it's the
setup.
Dallara 2018 model. Is the actual car chassis that everyone has. It's the same frame, same bodywork. Every single one has it the same. The only differences are setup and driver capability. Whereas Landsharky looked like he went into a wall. I promise you he didn't, because he's still over a second
And
clear
Miniko is
ahead.
up in to the podium. Yeah.
Yeah, completely missed the move. Honestly, I don't necessarily feel bad. We already knew what we were going to expect to see anyway. Miniko is P3, comfortably so, ahead of City of R now, and is only 11 seconds still behind Bops. He's not losing time to his teammate. In fact, he's gaining time now as he comes
Right.
through the first sector and into the second. If you're Bops, you've done everything right. You know Miniko's going to win the title if he keeps up this form. And you know he will keep up this form because it's impossible to lose that much pace that quickly. If he can pull a
Right.
last to first, don't you think he can maybe team strategy it and maybe do a Barrichello and say, well, yes, I know you're faster, but can I just have this one for the sake of
Right,
having
let
a
me
win
have
on
this
my
race.
record? Yeah. Because Bops has not done a thing
just let
wrong
me
this
have one.
race.
No.
He's
In
driven up.
qualifying, I mean, qualified on pole like 6 seconds out in front. He hasn't done a thing wrong.
And to be fair, Kiss My Axe has also
I'm
not
sure
done anything
they're-
wrong. Oh boy.
No, but yeah, Miniko's not gonna let Kiss My Axe have it. But yeah, Bops. I'm sure they're in a VC together. Him and Miniko. So we'll see whether Miniko lets him have it or if he's gonna try to sweep the season, try to pull a max.
On the screen right now, so you can all see it at home, we've got the fastest laps that each driver have set. You can just see that Miniko on 12 lap old, I think it's just soft tyres, not the super softs, the purple stripe tyre. On 12 lap old soft tyres, has been able to set a 1:30.5, which is the fastest lap of the race by a full 1/10 of a second over Bops, who has had clean air the entire time. I want to point out, has not had any issues with traffic or having to fight anyone. He's been a second clear since lap 2. Meanwhile, behind, I have completely missed this, as I'll swap back over now to the intervals. Com is all over the back of City of R, and we were mentioning it before the City of R was falling back. Now we're seeing it. The high tech of Com is all over his rear end.
Yeah, he did that quietly. I didn't even see that come into frame at all.
Into the hairpin now of the stadium
There
section.
was quite a bit of a gap after Miniko got around City of R.
Yeah, it was about 2.5 seconds, I think it was at the time, when Miniko got past. And now it's down to 4 tenths, 3 tenths out of the exit of the final corner. The run now with DRS down the main straight. Com will tuck in behind behind City of R. This is a battle between top half of the championship competitors. City of R looking to try and extend his position, potentially push on for P3 in the championship. But right now, he can't seem to get or can't seem to keep Com away from his rear end. Through 1, 2, and 3 they go. Dangerous chicane. Com seems to have got it right, but just a snap of oversteer on the exit has kept the throttle down though. Second DRS, second bite of the cherry. Can he go for the move? No, he's too far back. 2 tenths is too far down that straight. And again, just shows that the straight line advantage might necessarily be with Com here. Might not be with Com, but the cornering advantage absolutely is at this point.
Right, yeah, this is one of those tracks where if you run, you can run high downforce and low downforce and be fast either way.
Yeah.
It just comes down to where you prefer to be fast at.
And I feel like
personally, I like to have high downforce because it's more sturdy, more safe, stable in the corners.
I agree.
But you will get overtaken on the straights if you run high downforce.
And especially in F2 cars where straight line speed is everything. Your setup needs to have as much straight line speed as possible because it's such a minute difference as a City of R goes deep there to the hairpin. He looks like he's gone for a low downforce setup, but it's not necessarily working for him through that final sector. As now, round the final corner they come. Com is a lot closer this time. Within a tenth of the rear end of City of R. DRS open. Pulls to the inside. Yes! Oh, there's almost contact. They keep it clean though. Down the main straight. Pushes wide. In towards the apex of the corner. Com is cleanly ahead into the apex. Will try and hang it around the outside to City of R. There's a little bit of contact, but nothing major. And that is clean as you like from the high-tech car. City of R will try and make the move back, but that straight line advantage means nothing when you don't have DRS in an F2 car. And the high-tech of Com, clean as a whistle, looked like he went into a wall, promise you he didn't, is now P4. I swear I have to say that every
while
time.
that squabble was going on, JBTC got a 10-second penalty for corner cutting.
Yeah, he also is missing part of his front wing. And has actually gone into the wall and
he
has actually retired. That is real. And that is a safety car.
Full safety car. That is not good for Bops. Bops is hating this.
And Bops as well is at the very end of his lap. So now he has the choice whether or not he comes into the pits first. We'll see what he chooses to do. He chooses to box. Make the most of fresh tyres here. As into the pits he comes.
Absolutely.
Kiss my axe. Will be the next one to follow him in. We'll get the tyres up to see what they're going to be going on to. So you can see the Framer boys rolling on the tyres.
Seconds out in front, and that hurts.
Super softs for both Kiss My Axe and Bops. The Van Amersfoort garage, by the way, very important to note, is at the very, very end of the pit lane. It is all the way at the back end. Everyone is coming in, by the way. Absolutely everyone. Because you need to get these old soft tyres off. They're going onto the super softs, the purple stripe tyre. You can see every other pit crew coming out. F2 stops are longer than traditional F1 stops. And that's important to note because I think Com and City of R have jumped Miniko. They have. Meanwhile, Monster Jammers...
Did he get a wing change, or did he just get caught up in the double stack?
I don't know. I don't think it was an issue with the double stack. There was at least 10 seconds between them. But still. Right. Also, Monster Jammers didn't pit, which is a ridiculous plan from
terrible
the MP Motorsport. It is categorically terrible unless it's a second safety car. But hey, you want your 15 minutes of fame? Here it is. We'll put it on the screen. MP Motorsport technically have a P4 currently. Technically.
Yeah, he'll get swallowed up very quick.
Apologies, tabbed out the game. Probably shouldn't do that whilst I'm broadcasting. But yeah, that has kind of reshuffled the top 10 a bit. Homer's back in the points. I believe Landsharky's had a huge fall. And you know what? It might be the double stack because Landsharky's now P13. and he pit after Edge.
Right.
So double stacking might be the worst thing you can
Yeah,
do
that
in
was
F2.
a 10-second. That was a 10-second gap though.
Yeah.
And he went from P2 down to P6.
Well, one of them was due to a not pit, so really P2 to P5. Meanwhile, Monster Jammers
Right.
will be an interesting restart for him to see where he ends up. As Homer has somehow got a 3-second under the safety car. I don't know how you've done that. Like, you don't need to push...
So it's not just us lagging with this lobby. JBTC in the chat says he lost the readers and then boom. And he said the lagging in the game was awful. So
Right, so it
Pepper
might
Rock
just...
also says go Bops.
Yeah, it does feel like it is bots at this point, but it is real drivers. You can see the mistakes they're making. They're not botted up yet, but it is very much a DC heavy lobby. I feel like we're waiting for the host to DC at this point, because that feels like that's what it needs. Meanwhile, in comes Landsharky again, and I'm not sure why for this pit stop. I believe it's to serve a 5-second. You can see that that's the
smart.
That's the average speed of a pit stop there.
Who was it that got the 10-second?
It would have been... I don't remember.
I think they already served it.
It might have been Landsharky, you know.
Oh no, it was JBTC. It was JBTC. He got the 10-second for cutting the corner.
And then bend into the wall. Yeah. Either way, I'd be surprised if we see the safety car in this lap, considering how far back Landsharky is. But weirder things have happened with the safety car, and Bops is prepared for it. But no message that the safety car is in this lap, and we will be continuing for one more. The maximum safety car can do.
Dylan in the chat said Edge and Miniko both had damage, so that's what took Edge and Miniko so long in the pits.
And that's why Landsharky fell so far back as well, because Edge. So
Miniko was making all those moves with damage.
That's
what you're telling me.
Ridiculous. He was matching the pace of his teammate with damage. He was actually going quicker. He was down to 9 seconds to the lead. That's terrifying. Right. There is a dark oppressive force in 6th place right now, and he is trying to haunt F2. As I think I see a Primer weaving wildly in the background. I think that was Bouncy in P7, just flailing his car around. But so far, a very entertaining F2 race, to say the least. A lot has happened alongside the lag. Quality driving from Bops, Kiss My Ass, great overtakes from Carb, Miniko. City of R as well, having good battles at the front, and Bouncy getting involved with Com for a very long time. It's crazy to see just how big the gap between those two cars are now. After battling for so long for what felt like a P6, one is now P3 and the other is P7.
Right.
It's just the little minute differences in the race.
Right.
I just realised, stick pit for softs. Is he going to the end? Also, we are migrating host, by the way, as JBTC has left the session.
Oh, Lord. Maybe the lobby will clean up.
Yeah, maybe it was JBTC that was the problem, and no one else. As the safety car is staying out for one more lap. Interesting.
Yeah, Landsharky. How has Landsharky not caught up yet?
F2 cars. The safety car is going at the same pace it would for an F1 car. The F2 cars are not that much quicker than it. As we are going for a 4th lap on the safety car. I didn't know that was possible.
JBTC said it's... Yeah, me neither.
Also, yeah, the lag is fixed, by the way. It does appear everyone is back to normal. If anyone is watching the stream and you're still in the race, during the next DRS straight, can you just weave for me? I just want to see if we're all good. Just go right to left. Try not to bin it. I just want to see that we're all okay and we're good to go. Because if I see that, then I know for a fact that we're still in the actual race and we're not looking at bots.
Yeah, JBTC was the host, and in chat he said his game crashed.
Oh, okay.
But since He left. Since it's migrated to host, yeah, they're all even.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, guys.
Since he left, it's all fixed pretty much.
Yes, as Jonda's work has just overtaken Nikki G. What? Has something happened there that I've not seen? Has Nikki G given the place back up to him? Interesting.
Yeah, because now they're going slow back there, so...
Well, that's Burn that's going very slow. As my graphics decide to update, and I can no longer change them.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at Nikki G.
Bouncy just said AI just took control.
Right. So... Interesting. Yep, we are getting... Okay, it's a TV version of a safety car. Meaning I have no control over the camera here.
Yeah, somebody put the wrong settings in.
Thank you, JB. Appreciate it. Meanwhile, Nikki G's actually dropped down to 13th now. He's behind Burn Victim, who's got a 5-second time penalty. But we are underway again here at Mexico. Safety car is in. I can't change the menu now.
Me neither.
And...
Oh, there we go.
What is going on?
The safety car is about to come in. So it's doing the broadcast safety car thing.
Okay.
So the safety car is going in right here. And as soon as the safety car goes in and they take off, we'll be able to take control of the...
Yeah, I don't see that. So, I'm going to leave and rejoin. Because I think my lobby is broken, if you want to quickly invite me.
Yeah. I might have to do the same thing.
Well, that's not good. If there are any drivers in the lobby that are currently dead, which there are not... Oh boy. Thank you, Toby. Let's get us back in that lobby.
Okay, yeah, we're back. We're back good.
We're back good? Cool.
It's just... JBTC put on the broadcast safety car instead of the immersive.
Right, and that completely broke
And that's
our
what
games.
it does.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just it cuts to where, like, once everybody catches the safety car, it does like another lap or two under like a broadcast system, and then when the safety car comes in, it goes back to normal.
Right. I've never seen that before. Either way, we are underway, and I've got control of the car. Yes, I can actually do it now. And already, off the start of this restart, everyone is tucked up behind Bops. Has not got away very well. Miniko's already passed Monster Jammers, who's falling down the order, but Bops is under pressure from Kissed by Axe. Coming into turn number 1. Now coming down to turn 4. Can he get the move done? No, the Prema has to tuck in behind. And that is where we've seen the fault before. Meanwhile, Sean Tiller now up to P7 as again, that slow, cruising MP Motorsports car of Monster Jammers is struggling, as I think Sean's actually got past him as Bouncy's dropped down to P7 now. Oh no, he was P7. But Monster Jammers is all over the shop. Edge is now trying to come through in the Campos car. Bops, meanwhile, leading the pack away. But the Hunter is still chasing them as Monster Jammers falls to P12. And now has front wing damage, it appears, as well, as a couple of cars have gone off track. It is absolute chaos on the back of the grid right now. It's impossible to keep track of.
I'm gonna have to leave, and you're gonna have to invite me.
Okay. I got that.
My game's all DC'd. They had Burn Victim in P1, and yeah.
Yep. But meanwhile, Bops has set the fastest lap, 29.9 to restart us. Meanwhile, John does work now, tries to find a way past Monster Jammers, who's gone defensive. Burn Victim in the trying to get through as well. They are line astern at the back of the grid. Will either of them get through? No. Instead, it's Nikki G who's trying to send it up the inside, and the Dam's car can't do so. Meanwhile, Burn Victim's completely gone deep into the corner. Jonda's work's got through, but now, with those fresher tyres, will storm away on the exit into P12. He's ahead of Monster Jammers, who has that damaged front wing and might just back out of the move as Nicky G now comes up the inside. In the number 11 of Ayumu Iwasa, will he be able to get through? He's going to be squeezed wide. Monster Jammers gives him no room at all on the outside there. Says no move for you, sir. And will hang on to that P13. As now Burn is all over the back end of Nicky as well. And this back of the pack is ever so entertaining. But it's not where we should be directing our focus, because Miniko's actually got the move done on City of R already. And we completely missed it. Miniko is already back into P4. Is now hunting down Com once again. But everyone is on an equal platform now. 29.2 from Bops is the fastest lap. Miniko's only set a 30.2 that lap. It is a personal best, and he did have a purple final sector. But it's not enough to get ahead of Bops, as DRS is now re-enabled for this lap. Meanwhile, in the background, I believe Monster Jammers has...
The Rock in chat just said Homer is going to get disqualified from pins, just a bold prediction. To be honest, he's only got 9 seconds. There is people with 11, 12. Stig has 20 seconds.
Stig has 20.
So Stig is probably not too far off from getting... Yeah, he's probably not too far off from getting DSQ'd.
Tier 2 champion for McLaren last season.
I don't know what it is. A 100% race, I know in our 50% races, it's 30 seconds.
Yeah, 100% is still 30. It's basically 30 track limit extensions, as Homer does extend the track there at the exit of turn 6, but I don't think got a warning for it, so it's got away with it. Meanwhile, Landsharky behind him and Stig behind him. And you can see those two Alpine liveried cars. One ART, one Invicta Virtuosi. Virtuosi, of course, being formerly Uni Virtuosi. I have got that right now, I do remember. Those cars used to be battling. Meanwhile, Sean and Edge are going wheel to wheel. Edge has got up to P7. Great move there on Sean. The Campos getting by. And now chasing after Bouncy for P6 as Stig receives another 3 seconds. That's 23 for him now. And that is dangerous territory.
I think Miniko's going to make a move on Com right here going into turn 1.
Yeah, Com trying to close up to the back of Kiss My Axe. Can't do it. Miniko's alongside. Last of the late breakers is Miniko in that Van Amersfoort car. But Com's kept it with him on the inside now. They go over the curbs. It's not enough though. Miniko's trying to hold it, but Com's had a great exit, to be fair. Is still alongside. They are wheel to wheel, and Com's got his nose ahead into the braking point. But there's that late braking expertise of Miniko. Sends it deep and around the outside. Switches to the inside for the second half of the chicane, and will get the job done in the Van Amersfoort car. And he will lead, or will take P3 as there's a yellow flag in Sector 1. And that is for Nicky G, who's binned it into a wall. It appears out of the exit of turn 3. And it's a damaged front wing.
Damage also. He's missing the left end plate, yes.
Which is not what the Dams team were needing. City of R has fell down a P5 from what was once a podium potential. And now his teammate is barely within 20 seconds of a point. So, not the start that they were looking for to this Mexican Grand Prix. But, of course, we are over halfway through the Mexican Grand Prix at this point. As meanwhile, the battle for 9th is raging on. Homer, Landsharky and Stig are all over the back ends of each other. Coming now through the final sector. We're on board with Stig as we look towards turn number 1. And you can see immediately Homer's trying to break the toe. He's allowed 3 moves on the straight and 1 into the braking zone. That is the legal parameters that I know in terms of real life racing. He goes defensive here into turn number 1. Will hold the inside line as Sean receives a 3 second ahead of them to bring him to 6. And oh, his contact! Stig's collided with Landsharky. Whether intentional or not, they've gone round and Landsharky has lost all that time that he had over both of them. And has fell out of the points. Stig up to P10, but definitely not a fair overtake there. Meanwhile, Bouncy also battling with Sean Tiller. the back of the field. Battle for 7th is on. Sean is all over the rear end, and in fact, he's got a little too close to the rear end. That's a broken end plate for Sean. Tiller bounced off of the rear end of Bouncy. Unfortunately, it's not plastic. That's a Trackmania joke of all things. I don't know.
Miniko's planning his move on Kiss My Axe for P2 also.
Yeah, he's right up his rear end. 3 seconds for Stig, not important to the overall outcome of this race, but he's on 26 seconds. I think he will be the first one to go, if anyone is to go. But Miniko's within 2/10 already. You know what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. You've seen this time and time again. It is the championship leader into P2. It is, in fact, a Van Amersfoort 1-2 currently. The Constructors leaders on 70 points after 2 races. Which is still wild, I want to point out. Like, it's Red Bull level dominance. That's ridiculous. Are now 1-2 on track, and comfortably so at that. Meanwhile, behind, City of R putting pressure on Com. He's not been able to get through because Com's had the DRS from Kiss My Axe at the start of the lap, and that's kind of dropped him back a bit. Meanwhile, behind them, Edge, Bouncy, and Sean. Sean with that damage now has fell further back. He's dropped the second to Bouncy. That's going to be crucial, I feel like, for his race. He needs to try and stay in that DRS zone as Nicky G returns to the pit lane and pulls off. The Dams car has not had a good weekend and has retired from the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, the other Dams car is still in the hunt for P4 as Homer gets his 12 seconds of penalties. Bouncy gets a couple. Monster Chambers gets a couple. Everyone's getting a couple.
3 drivers just got. Yeah.
You get a 5 second. You get a 3 second. Lancharky gets another one. Meanwhile, Homer and Stig are side by side. And in fact, Homer is ahead of Stig currently, as they have been. But Stig was ahead momentarily heading into the braking zone. Now through the final corner, what that's done is it's allowed John Does Work to get involved. As City of R has got past Com down to turn number 1. He's got the job done. He's up to P4. But the battle between the 2 Alpine livery cars. And if this is anything like Ocon and Gasly, I feel like we're about to see an explosion. So let's keep on board with Stig here as we go into the braking zone. Hard braking from Stig, but Homer holds it around the outside. There's a little bit of contact, wheel-to-wheel bouncing there. Homer has backed out of the move to go for a recovery move, has been let back through by Stig, who recognised that it was an illegal move and probably wasn't fair to get away with it the way he did, as Homer is actually caught up to the back of Bouncy again. Wait, Bouncy's down to P8.
Correct.
And he's struggling.
He's been struggling since pit stopped.
I don't know what's up with Bouncy. Does he have front wing damage? No. Not from first viewing at least. He looks fine, but...
Well, those super softs are probably about to start dying off at 12 laps. And Stig is the only one out there on the regular softs.
Yeah. So Stig might actually be about to pull a blinder. He's on the fresher... Well, he's on the older set of tyres on the track, but in reality, they are the most comfortable set of tyres on the track. As he is now waltzing through. We saw how...
Those super softs are probably starting to overheat and causing major problems.
You can see Stig's all over the rear end of Homer, who, by the way, will have DRS this lap on Bouncy. But again, Stig is getting such good exits that he's just running into the back of his own fellow livery companion. As Kiss My Axe is actually still P3. I don't know why I had to say still P3. Oh, it's because they're side by side. And City of R is on the podium currently. How has this happened? Kiss My Axe forced her back out. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. But deep goes City of R into turn 5. Has been forced Kiss My Axe off the track. That will be an illegal overtake, so he'll have to give it back. And he does on track. But we'll try and keep the acceleration up. Now into the S section. He's got the inside line. Will City of R yield? No. Of course he won't. He wants that podium. He gets on the podium. Great move from City of R to get ahead. But this battle is far from over.
That was really good, clean driving in between the two. I mean, besides that one push off when Kiss My Axe went way off track. But other than that, there's no way you're going to start going double wide in a Formula 1 car through those S's. You can only do that in Formula 2.
Kiss My Axe is putting him under immense pressure. And you can see City of R is struggling for grip on those super softs. They all are at this point. You'd have to assume everyone on the same old set of tyres that they've had it ever since the safety car. But now down the main straight, it's not Kiss My Axe challenging City of R. It's Kiss My Axe under pressure from Com in the high tech, who will pull to the inside line. He had the double toe, will in fact pull ahead into the braking zone. Doesn't brake as late as Kiss My Axe, but will try and force him narrow here through turn 2. Will get the run out of the exit. Will run wide to secure the position. And another beautiful bit of overtaking manoeuvring here in F2. Meanwhile, Stig is now all up the inside of Homer and will actually get the job done, at least into the braking zone. Homer's trying to hang it round the inside. There's no room there. Stig forcibly makes the move. He's up to P8.
So if you Kiss My Axe, do you pull the trigger? Because everyone's going to have to pit again, correct? I don't think the super softs are going to last.
I think the softs might. It would be a risk, but the softs might. Super softs will not. I think you do.
So if you're Kiss My Axe, do you, since you're losing positions, do you go ahead and pull the trigger and try to pull the undercut on Com and City of R?
It's interesting, as you see there, both Com and City of R have actually gone deep there into the braking zone at the end of the DRS straight. I think you do. The leaders are staying out. That's the key point here of reference, I think. They're waiting on the leaders to do something. Kiss My Axe will stay out for another lap. It'll be interesting to see if anyone else does follow them in, though, or decides to go in. Potentially, Bouncy might be a good scapegoat for it, despite the fact that he is battling currently for a podium place. As Homer receives another 3-second time penalty. That'll be added to his time at the end of the race, and Homer will box. Homer will be the first one in. That is crucial. It's the Invicta Virtuosi.
Yeah, smart. I think if I was Kiss My Axe, I'd be going in before Com and City of R. I wouldn't wait for them to pull the trigger.
Now the interesting thing is, what did the leaders do? Because Bops has slowly had his gap whittled down over the last few laps. He's been doing a great job of managing those tyres and managing his gap to Miniko. But Miniko is categorically the faster driver of the two and has been closing the gap currently. Right now, you've got to assume the idea is he needs to box, get a new set of super softs on before Miniko pits, and that way he can secure that P1 either way, because either Miniko's tyres are going to drop off a cliff and he'll get him on the overtake, or he will have the undercut and remain in P1 to the very end. He can't afford to let Miniko pit first here, but Miniko will have the opportunity if he'd want to pit, but both will stay out still. City of R will be the next man round. Will he be the first to box? As the gaps have opened up a little bit, he stays out. What about Com? He boxes, as does not Kiss My Axe, and it's Com who's the first one to go. Interesting.
I think that's a smart move from Com.
I agree. I don't think those super softs can go to the end.
I think he's going to stay ahead of Kiss My Axe, and then he will overtake City of R from the undertake. Oh, he served a 5-second penalty, too.
Oh, that might be crucial.
Oh, no, they're changing his front wing.
Oh, no. Has Com got a broken front wing? He does. Anyway, on goes those super softs on the front. He's gone for a new set to the end. And that will drop him out of the points momentarily, but you have to feel like he won't be the only one to make a pit stop here out of that top 5. If any of them are smart.
Yeah, the only one that's not going to stop, I don't think, is Stig, but he has 26 seconds of penalties, so it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah. It's such a shame because he's had such a good strategy call, but the race itself has been, well, bad. For lack of a better word. It's just been a bad race from him in terms of keeping his nose clean. Meanwhile, speaking of keeping the nose clean, at the front of the grid, it is Bops still leading the way. And again, he's just nursing those tyres. He doesn't want to box. They must be on fire at this point, though, as Miniko thinks about boxing, chooses not to. You could see him there looking to try and fire it into the pit lane, doesn't. City of R stays out. Kiss My Axe stays out. That leading pack don't want to risk it.
JBTC in the chat says he thinks the VAR guys are going to stay out, but I don't think the tires will last. They have 17 laps, and they still got 7 laps left. They'll be 24-lap-old super softs.
That's a very risky strategy. Stig can manage it. He's on soft tyres. That's true. He's actually getting about a second a lap to Sean Tiller on those tyres. As Landsharky's got past Bouncy, because Bouncy and John Doe's work have come in as well. They are very important now, because they're the test dummies, in a sense. Com has the pure pace, but where they come out is so crucial to the actual race itself, because this is a long pit lane here, especially for F2 cars. What lap times is Com setting? We'll have the time telemetry up for this one to see how he's driving. We'll go on board with the high tech, as the Van Amersfoorts are currently coming around the final sector, so we'll see if they box ahead of time. Miniko's actually got a 3-second, which might be crucial come the end of the race, because he's 4.5 seconds behind Bops. And I think Bops is pitting. No, he's not. It looked like he was on the mini map, but he's not.
So he ran a 130.5, Bops did.
30.5. So that's the time to beat for Com. And if we're looking at a fresh set of super softs, we're looking at someone going around a 29, 28. And we know Com has that pace in him. We've seen him with that pace all weekend. Coming through the S's, you can see the grip, it's there. Times it to perfection for all of the corners, carries the speed out of them. The gap, by the way, to Byrne has come down by nearly 2 seconds this lap. He's gone purple in the middle sector. And with the lower fuel loads as well, you got to think those softer tyres, they heat up so much faster because you're running them at such a higher pace. Oh, he's had a moment at the final corner, but across the line, here he comes. It's a 29.4. That's the pace advantage. It's a full second faster currently on those super softs. Is that enough to make up the time, though? I don't think it is. I think he's too far back.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm more worried about those super softs getting punctures. Like,
that's
24 laps on them. That's a long time. Like, even if you are nursing them, 24 laps on super soft, 24 laps on a regular soft is pretty bad, much less a super soft.
Meanwhile, Bops, Miniko both elect to stay out still. City of R, I think, would be the critical moment here, because we're running out of laps here. And either he's already made the choice to stay out for the rest of the race, and I think they have. I think they've just decided, come what may, we're going to the end on this set of tyres. And I am now very nervous to see what happens to our front 6, because they are all on that cusp of blowing up.
5 laps, they should have pitted. If they were going to try to get off the super softs, they should have pitted about 5 laps ago.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Stig, still on fresher set of tyres, set a 131.9 last lap, but is still comfortably about a second a lap quicker than Sean Tiller, who is in P6 currently. And because of the pace, or the gap between Com, by the way, Com has caught massively this lap. I think he's gone even quicker. Crossed the line, he's 29.5, he's within a tenth of his last lap. He's that much faster, he's gained 4 seconds on Byrne in that lap. But if you're someone like Stig,
that's insane.
Yeah, no, that's pace advantage right there. Meanwhile, back down the order, Homer as a yellow flag for John Doe's work, who I believe may have hit the wall and span into the pit lane. Unfortunate for him, he's not had a great weekend. The Van Amersfoort boys, comfortable, relaxed. Yes, there is a front wing in the pit lane entry, so be careful if you are going to box. Because I don't know if that's necessarily safe anymore. Although it looks like the marshals have cleared it up now, which is nice. But again, we're not seeing anyone else pit, as expected. But there are 2 major battles that are going to be happening very soon. One of them is going to be Stig versus Sean. The other is going to be Com trying to work his way past Byrne, because he has a limited number of laps to work here. And because no one else has pitted, if their tyres do go to the end, he has lost so much ground from that. He'll be kicking himself.
Yeah, because he was running P4.
Yes. He was in that
And
middle of
there's
that
no
stretch.
chance he catches it.
Yeah.
Right.
The best he can hope to do at this point is P8. And even that is a stretch. Either way, now in the DRS toe of Burn, you know he'll have the corner advantage here through 1, 2, and 3, but he's got to play it safe. Got to play it slow, because Burn will still be defending 4 position, because this is 4 position, becomes had such a better exit. Look at the grip advantage out of the exit of 3.
The grip levels is insane.
That's 4 lap old versus 20 lap old tyres, by the way. Same compound, completely different story. Meanwhile, the battle at the front for the last podium spot is starting to heat up a little bit. Because Kiss My Axe is slowly, but surely, catching City of R here. They're now under 2 seconds between them. And
they're both on 3-second penalties, so they're level playing field.
Yeah. So we'll pull those up now so you can all see what the gaps look like. Edgemind is in a comfortable P5. I don't think he'll be losing that anytime soon. And Bops, unless he manages to get a penalty or have his tyres give out on him, will be on for P1 here. Which is a remarkable job from someone who really was classified as the number 2 driver to Miniko. And has been slower than Miniko this weekend, but has managed to hold his own comfortably at the front of the field when it matters the most.
To be honest, he hasn't been too much slower than Miniko. I mean, yeah, he's a little bit slower, but it hasn't been...
tens.
It's not like Miniko has been like... Yeah. It hasn't been like an insane difference in between the two of them. But, yeah, even if Miniko catches him, he still has a 3-second time penalty. I doubt he's going to be able to make up 6 seconds in 3 laps.
We'll see. Currently, though, Stig, on track, is within just outside of a second behind Sean Tiller. Has now just broached that gap into a second, but for an overall finishing position, he's not going to get much out of this race. He is 26 seconds worth of penalties behind where he will finish on track, which is, I don't need to say, is not optimal for a good racing weekend. Elsewhere, Kiss My Axe has just settled in as another run wide there from Sean Tiller. Those tyres really starting to give up, but they're hanging on in there for everyone involved, which is, it's so interesting to see. Maybe the tyre wear isn't as bad as we thought. The drivers are able to pull this off, but we saw Com have to pit. Whether that was a choice or not is a different story. He's actually caught Lansharky, and apparently we've got 3 minutes remaining of the race. And the race is over.
Yeah, that popped up on my screen too.
I believe we've ran out of time in the race. We've actually hit the time limit.
Really?
I think so.
I didn't know there was a time limit.
I didn't either. We're on lap 38 of 40, and the race is over. We're coming into the grandstand section now. The confetti and fireworks are going off. Either way...
Now I'm confused.
No, I'm very
I was
confused.
earlier, but now I'm really confused.
You know what? We'll play it out as if it is over, because it has been a phenomenal race for Van Amersfoort, and it will be Bops who will take home a win here today. It's over an hour. That's why. It's an hour time limit in F2.
Really?
It is, I remember. Either way, a comfortable P1 for Bops, P2 for Miniko, Van Amersfoort 1-2 once again. Like Red Bull domination, they are always present. City of R will take home P3, Kiss My Axe P4. Edge has had a really good run today, from P16 on the grid to P5. A great job from him. Meanwhile, Stig has got past Sean Tiller. Where will he end up in the end? I think this might aid him, you know.
He's going to end up probably about 11 or 12.
No, he will finish ahead because everyone else finished a lap before. So he's got away with murder, basically.
They got away with that 26 seconds?
He did. He dropped behind Sean and that's it.
Oh, wow.
That's wild. We'll show the final classification so you can all see them in their glory, but definitely not the ending of the race I was expecting. As Van Amersfoort 1-2.
No.
It is a damn on
Anticlimactic.
podium. I was hoping for a last 2-minute dash, but no, it's just over. Either way, Van Amersfoort once again 1-2. 2 weeks in a row now. That is won at COTA, now at Mexico. The North American circuit run seemingly is their calling, and we've seen it now from both drivers, both of them with a race win. But the championship advantage for Miniko does come down. He was leading comfortably ahead of time. The qualifying points, by the way, do not matter in the end. And yeah, Landsharky finishes a lap down. And so Stig survives in P7 for ART.
But then Calm in P9, he was running in P4 and just made a
Strategic
strategy
error.
call that didn't work out.
And he didn't even get fastest lap as well, just to prove how fast the Van Amersfoorts were in the end. Bops and Miniko with 29.2, 29.1, both quicker than a fresh tired Com doing a 29.4. Wow. What a ridiculous end to the race. And not in the way we were hoping for, to say the least.
Never seen anything like that.
No, I've not. I wish I'd known that was a rule ahead of time. We'll hopefully never see that implemented again. But, yeah. What a race. Driver of the day, Toby. Who would you have to give it to?
I mean, Miniko, he started at the back and ended up in P2. I mean, we knew it was going to come. I didn't know if he was going to be able to catch Bops, which he was getting there. But
for me, it's
trying to get the guys in here for interviews.
for me, it's got to go the other way. I think it's the other driver who was finishing in P5 in the end, and that would be Stig. Well, not Stig, sorry. Edge. That was it. Who started at the back of the grid and finished P5 in the end. That takes skill.
Yeah.
Especially, that's not a driver that you'd expect to see. That's a tier 4 driver in the F1 tiers doing an amazing job in a tier 2, in an F2 car against some of the best drivers in the league. It's ridiculous good form from him.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Edge he's been improving every season since he's joined MRL.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right.
P3 was Tilla, correct?
I believe so, yes. Well, I have an interesting thing because I don't know if I prepared the interview session, but we're going to find out very quickly if I did or not. And if I didn't, oh boy. This could be very fun.
We'll be able to hear him either way, though.
Oh, yeah. So let's get him in here. Let's get Tiller in for that P3 position. Was it Tiller for P3? I believe so. Tiller, congratulations, mate. A great race. A very anticlimactic ending to the race.
I do want to apologise, Dan. I am not P3.
You're not P3. Thank you for telling me.
I am Bops' PR man, so...
Okay, well, welcome, Mr. PR man.
Yep.
Awesome. I don't even know what to ask you at this point.
I'll stay here and wait for Bops and make sure he doesn't say anything inappropriate.
Okay, well, should we get Bops in then? Yeah, let's get Bops in. Bops, we have your PR agent here. Reminder to not say anything that would get us in trouble. We are live. Congratulations today, mate. A pretty much flawless race from you, even with the shenanigans of the safety car restart. You held your own, you were comfortable out front, you led every lap of the race, and you never really looked in danger of losing it until, well, Miniko started catching you towards the end, but those 3 seconds definitely paid off for you, right?
Yeah, I was always going to be scared of Miniko through that race. I constantly saw him catching me and catching me and catching me, I'm like, oh, bleep word. What am I going to do? So, yeah, it was a good race, bit long. Bit annoying with what happened. I feel like I shouldn't have won that race. Miniko had wing damage for the latter half of it. So, yeah, good race for me. I feel like I could have done things better, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it.
One of the questions myself and Toby were asking constantly in the booth was the state of those super soft tyres, because we were seeing 20, 22, 23, 24 laps pop up on them. I'm thinking they should be popping by now. What was the actual wear like? Was the tyre wear as bad as we were predicting, or was it actually manageable for those tyres?
So I felt it was perfectly fine. So I was, in the end, I think I got to like 63% wear.
Okay.
Like it wasn't terrible. I mean, on the softs, they just kept going. Like, I think my slowest lap was 5/10 slower than my fastest on my softs. And then the super softs were really good. They only really started to drop off after 50%, I felt.
Okay.
Yeah, they felt really nice. No problems for me.
And
I
with
really
that,
thought Kiss My Axe was going to end up pitting and trying to undercut P2, P3 and P4, but he ended up hitting and it brought him back out way down the field. He ended up finishing 7th, so I guess that was just a bad strategic call. I thought for sure the super sauce were wearing off way more than that.
Yeah, I was personally surprised by the wear on the tires as well. But when I saw that safety car light pop up on my screen, I'm like, I've got a box. There's no way there's going to be another one. These cars are too slow to cause safety cars most of the time. So it's just, that was the one time that it was going to happen. So went for it and it worked.
well, with that race, you actually managed to close the gap ever so slightly to Miniko at the front of the field. I think the gap is now down to 28 points between you two. You are 1 and 2 in the championship. Van Amersfoort are comfortably clear in the Constructors' Championship, another 44 points for you this weekend. Do you think you're going to be able to repeat that level of success going into next weekend, on my birthday weekend of all things? I don't know why I brought that up, but I just thought I would. Someone buy me a gift. Do you think you're capable of repeating this form throughout the rest of the F2 season, or do you think it's more of just an early season form that's going to slowly whittle out as time goes on?
I hope it keeps on going. So I feel like Miniko will definitely still stay up there, but I feel like I've got the pace on the other drivers in these F2 cars, just from like experience throughout like years of driving and stuff. So I hope it still goes the way that that me and Miniko wish the season to go in with points and stuff. So hopefully I'll be pushing for 1-2s again with him in the future.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you, Mr. PR Agent Tiller, for the assist on this.
I didn't have to intervene. It was pretty clean.
You didn't, yeah, you did.
You almost had to.
Almost had to, but you've done a good job. We thank you both for your time. We're going to let you go now.
Alright, thank you, mate.
Have a great evening, you two.
You too.
Alright, so now we got P2 and the championship. Still the championship leader, Miniko.
Hello, Miniko. As Toby's picture decided to disappear for a second. Welcome to the voice call. Congratulations on a great recovery drive after what was a pretty shocking qualifying by your standards. Starting down in P15 after a DNF or DSQ in qualifying. Was that part of the plan, or was that genuinely a mistake that you made in the qualifying session?
That's pretty much the definition of no practice. That's pretty much all it was. That was all it was. Like, that one lap was basically my practice, and I just went a little bit too wide going into the S's, and it just completely screwed me. Definitely wasn't the plan.
Right, but you did make the comeback drive through the field. We were talking ahead of time that you had the pace coming out of COTA. You were 20 seconds up the road from everyone else, and we got to see a little bit more of that today. You were able to power through the field, overtaking some drivers several times for the sake of getting through after that awkward safety car restart. But for the most part, did you ever feel like P2 was not on the cards at any point? Or was it sort of in the back of your mind that, yeah, I can always be on that podium, I will always be in that position?
Well, concerning the pace that I had the past 2 races, I knew that a podium was definitely on the cards, especially with some incidents that would easily go down on lap 1. Thing is, P1 was also on the cards as well, because that entire race, never once did I go a single lap of green flag racing with a full front wing. I had damage pretty much that entire race.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't as bad it wasn't as bad in the first stint, like it was barely noticeable, but the second stint I was missing a complete end plate on the left-hand side, which completely killed me in Sector 2. So there was a lot more pace in hand for me to show it, but I just couldn't because I just didn't have the front-end grip to do so. But either way, pace was there, and yeah, from P16 up to P2, albeit with a few interesting moments.
So me and Dan were wondering earlier in the race. We were wondering if you did catch Bops, were you gonna let him have the win, or were you gonna fight him for it?
Fight him all the way. Doesn't matter who the person is. If you're gonna fight for the win, you're gonna fight for the win. It doesn't matter who it is. Like, just look at Verstappen and Perez in Miami. They fought it out, so why shouldn't it be any different?
Fair enough.
Right.
We were looking at it from more of the perspective of, almost the Rubens Barrichello to Michael Schumacher kind of vibe with you and Bops, in the fact that you were constantly seeming to have the pace advantage throughout each weekend, but now we're finding yourself behind, despite the fact that you're comfortably leading in the championship and he's your closest rival. Like, we didn't know if that was going to play out the way it did, but good points either way for Van Amersfoort, 44 points again on top for you, except this time your championship lead has shrunk. You're no longer 34 points clear, you're only 28. Do you feel like Bops is going to be a championship rival for you going forward, or is this more of a blip in the pan for you in regards to your actual pure pace advantage?
Time will tell. You never know if Bops is going to be really quick one weekend or just not as quick another. It's a huge gamble. You don't know what it's going to be 1 week on to the next. I definitely feel like it could be just a blip because even with the front wing damage, I was still gaining on him quite a bit. So I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, it's just a matter of taking it weekend by weekend.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. We wish you the best of luck next weekend, and may your championship reign continue as dominantly as it has been. And I hope Amersfoort have another great weekend next time out.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you very much.
Right. Believe we may have one more interview.
Oh, that's Edge. I told him in the chat he didn't earn it.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, he didn't earn it. So, but a good performance from him nonetheless. And I think we should really give a shout out to everyone else that was involved in the race. There was a lot of amazing racing. Kiss My Axe. Who got third in the end? I forget. It was a Dams driver. City of R,
yeah.
All had an amazing battle for what felt like the entire race. They were always involved with each other. Bouncy getting involved for a bit as well. It was a lot of fun. I felt like, despite
even
all
the back
chaos.
of the grid, they were battling pretty hard for positions that weren't even points.
Yeah, Homer was constantly in battles with people. But yeah, no, a great weekend here for F2, and we do have more racing coming your way this weekend. All of the F1 tiers from Tier 6 through to Tier 1 and no assist all taking place this weekend. Make sure to tune in. The races have different times for Tier 4 and Tier 3 this week due to the clash with the actual F1 race. So do not be surprised if the times have shifted for those. So without further ado, I have been Dan. This has been Tolby, the beautiful bearded man that he is. And we are going to sign out for the evening. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen. Look after yourselves and stay safe.
See you all Sunday, guys.